To God be the glory for the great things He's doing. Now, in a few minutes, Brother Mike will share with us. But not share with us, but he's going to make an announcement and make an appeal to you in regard to our building fund, okay? As a matter of fact, come through that right now, Mike. Come through that now. And then we can get out and give us our natural flow thing. Keep going straight forward to our natural meeting.
Amen. Well, y'all know as we head towards the journey, we almost at the finish line. We came a long way. Relatively Bible Fellowship was put in existence through God. God spoke this ministry into existence. But He's going to see it through His people. And He's going to take us as His people and as the body of Christ to come together and mend together with our resources. Listen, we're way over halfway having this properly paid for. There's a lot of great things that already happened in this ministry, in this country, and God got plans for a lot more great things to happen. But these great things are coming through, not only through the ministry of Pastor Charles teaching and proclaiming the gospel, but it comes through us, the body. We go out and we talk to people and we vindicate this church and we just raise it up and lift it up. And we bring our friends and our families, those that are lost and been away from Jesus and been struggling. But this church has been a healer in this community. A lot of bad things on this property done occurred. Real bad things. But God placed a church here to say that this is His name. And He claimed it, and he placed us here in the midst of it. And we done been through some struggle. So my thing is that if we would just come together. Now sometimes I know, we all have our own personal struggles, personal financial things like that. And that's okay. God don't build us and deliver us from and get us through that too. We're gonna be on the storm. But now we're at this point where we really have to kind of stretch. We really have to do a little bit above what we normally do. Matter of fact, I would just say that, and I know Pastor probably don't think. We had an incident here this past week. Well, and I'm sure that whoever the individual was meant well, but they placed a check in the offering without any money in the account. Don't do it like that. If you don't have, if it's not there, because the reason why I said it, not to be critical or nothing like that, but it costs the church whenever we have a check that go through and it don't process. So if you don't have, just wait till you get it and put it in there. You see what I'm saying? So, and let's continue to pray about what we're doing. This building is going to be paid for here within, I say, about 2015, hopefully by March. If we can get out of here in March and get to know Grant on it, we're going to do it right here on this very property. And we're going to have a ceremony, we're going to praise the Lord, and let Him know we thank Him for being the God that He is, faithful, and always there for me, all I need according to His riches and glory. God didn't want us to make this property and this ministry work through no outside context, one way, and then He don't see this through His people. So, y'all continue to pray, continue to encourage one another, and whatever, if you have extra, please place it in the building for one another so that you can get credit, that it'll be put under your name, how they record it, the secretary, Ms. Williams, she do the recording, so make that separate, make that a personal and separate. I'm talking about outside of your tithe and all. You need to be faithful in giving our tithe and offering. But towards our building form, let's make a push at trying to get the money for it. Make God bless and keep it.
My friends, we have a goal. We got to raise $33,000. We've already had, and to be quite honest about it, we're well on our way from a commitment part. We have over $20,000 commitment already made. So we're on our way. If you have not signed on with us, now's the time to do it. I have the list right here. And we'll put it on the table over here, you can sign off this evening if you choose to do so. And if you're not in a position to do so, what we said to you, we said all along, we do the best that you can. You don't have anything, you just don't have it. But believe you're going to get something.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do. You got to believe you're going to get something. And it won't be long. Within, hopefully by the end of the middle of this 2015, we'll have this strategy rolled out. Micah said we got 50%, but we got 90% of the way. We 90% of the way. We started out with a little over $600,000. Today I got the bill, got the papers back today, and we $55,000. So we are well, we're 90% of the way. The reason I want to get it, we need to get it done because things have changed so. It doesn't take the one look disaster, one look at it, and everything will fall apart. So what we're doing, we just want to try to be responsible people in good stewards and do what we know is the right thing to do at this time on our journey. Get this now settled, get it behind us, and move on to where we go. You can be a part of that. You have been faithful. I was thinking the other day, as a matter of fact, we came up a little bit short this month, but a couple of us got together and made it happen. As a matter of fact, I got to go back. I might have to ask you guys to help me raise $150 tonight because we had a couple of checks to come back. And what we're going to do, we need to get that replaced. So Thursday morning is that we'll have enough money to cover our mortgage. That makes sense to you? So we got to do what we got to do. It ain't no big deal. We are where we are. We're in the climate and the culture that we're in, and we roll with the foot. We trust God. I don't want anybody to get pushing. The point is that we are transparent in this church. We're going to know what we are, right? And how you can participate. This is what I've discovered. A lot of us doing a living and do great things. That's right. That's right. I'll say it one more time. A lot of us doing a living, or being consistent, doing what we do. We can do great things. But when a few of us have to do everything, that creates another problem. Now that creates a dilemma. Because most of us are just working class people, and we can't write 10, 15, 20, $100,000 checks. Nobody can say it. And see more than have a right one on a regular basis. So we're going to talk with him about that. That's get the boy blessed, you know. But I'm not making sense to you. If we do what we're supposed to do. Now here's another thing that I'm very conscious of. And I'm conscious of, and I don't want you guys to know that as a pastor, I'm conscious of it. I know a lot of us are unemployed now. Or we're making minimum wage. We are very conscious and conscious of that. We don't want you to feel slighted or left out because you can't do what somebody else can do. I'm making sense to you. All I'm saying is you do the best that you can. And we're gonna make it. Because Andre and Teresa already committed to picking up all the slack. All right. Anything y'all can't do, Andre and Teresa don't do it. That's all I mean. We got good people. Speak like that. Do what they have to do. And the cash flow is it's like a Niagara Falls that Now they put us in an awkward position. Somebody never do it. We're doing by faith. We have to do revival time. Yes, sir. And it costs to do revival. Yeah. And we may have to make some adjustments in the way we do things for this revival. And I want let's pray about that. We're going to pray about which direction we go in. And then we'll make some decisions. We're going to have a revival. Amen. But I don't know if we're going to have a preacher that we're going to have to preach the revival. Because we bring the preacher in, we got to get him, we have to raise a substantial honorarium for him. And we're in a position now where we're trying to pay off our mortgage, and we're trying to keep things moving forward. We don't have the money to trade to do it. That makes sense to you? So we have to, then, I'm going to have to let Francis preach the Bible. Yes, ma'am.
We got that way of taking care of it. We got you.
All right. Well, we're going to do it. So this is all, it's all in the making. We just have to do what we have to do. I believe being good Christian means that we have to set the flexibility. We have to make adjustments. We have to keep going. Keep on letting our light shine. Amen. We have to do. I believe we had to. If we just had to do it. Myself and Brother Andre believe that's what we believe in church of the Bible. We can do that. I believe we can do that. I think we're qualified to do it. I think God anointed on our lives to the point that He will allow us to do that. I'm reflecting on it. I'm thinking about it. I'm praying about it. If we have to go that route, we're going. Now that means that you have to do your part. You still have to go and do your part. We still got to work with our parts and get our friends, neighbors, relatives, kinfolk, all the people to be filled with worship and secret. And we have to work on that. Either way it goes, everything else goes the same. All we're saying is that our financial situation makes all of us make some adjustments. That makes sense to you? And we still get the same thing done. Now, one thing that I do know, the thing that matters in life, don't have a dollar value on it. The thing that really matters are priceless. Y'all don't hear me. And so we don't let the stuff that's priceless stop us, the thing that costs us stop us from propagating that which is priceless. Y'all hear me? We're on the move. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I ain't gonna tell y'all this story. No, I ain't gonna tell you that. No. Too serious. Let's go ahead and start our time. We're gonna do a couple things this evening. The first thing I'm gonna start with a little piece about community life. I promised you on Sunday that we were going to continue our conversation tonight on that Ferguson incident, what we need to learn, what we need to practice teaching our young people. And I want to set the stage for that conversation to continue. I'll do that in just a moment. But before I do that, I want us to understand that it's important for us to take serious community living. Like all about community. All about us living in right relationship with one another. Now, that means this. I'm going to ask you to do this. And sometimes we develop bad habits. And it's hard to break them. But we must change our very language, how we talk to one another. How we talk to God. For instance, I'm going to leave it right on this. We're talking this evening about community, and then we got to start using we and us more. They got nothing to do with I. When you come up in here, it's not about I. This is about us.
That's it.
Are y'all following me? So Jesus said, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be your name. I can't come down, will we come on earth? He said, give us this day our daily bread. Forgive who? That's community stuff. Our debt, as we do what? Forgive our debts. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver who? See? That's what it's about. See, individualism is a European ideology. It's a way of capitalism, but it's not the way of Christianity.
Yes, sir.
Christianity is about community. And when God saved us, He called us into what? Community. He called us, go back and read Acts chapter 2. You will see called them to be together. And they joined the church. And they began to live out that wonder, that life of community. And they lived together, they served together. They shared their faith together. They in and out of one another's home. All these things. And they were able to share their resources for the betterment of the community. Not just about individuals. You see what I'm saying? Yes. That's what we're trying to go with this ministry. This ministry, we need these facilities. Right? Yes. But this ministry has to be bigger than this church house. Y'all don't hear me? We have to come to a point and move to a point in this journey that we're on so that we can always be about investing in one another's lives. And particularly the poor among us. Yes, sir. Now I say that, now see some of y'all don't measure your poorness by dollars and cents. Because they won't have to get everybody to set them to receive and won't have to get a give now. You know how y'all are about putting labels on yourself. Everybody wants so you can get rather than give. See? So, but if you don't have the necessities of life, if you're a member of this church, we want to be in a position so that we can help our people to keep moving forward. I never want people in this church to be embarrassed because they have to ask somebody for some food or some clothes or to get their light bill paid or something like that. And if they do that, they have to be insulted and belittled and put down and all that kind of stuff. They do that down the welfare office. They feel bad, insulted, and all that kind of stuff. But there are times when people have need. We'll move back to that point. And God knows where we are, what we need, what we're going. And we can't get to a point where our old buildings start falling in. We're going to say that in a moment. And now that, again, something like how blew up himself and something. I mean, yesterday, it blew up today. I mean, that blew it off. And the miracle happened, the lady got out with all 5 little children alive. I mean, literally blew it up. I never seen anything like that. You never think a person would come out of that kind of rush, with the kind of intensity of that explosion, to clap that whole house, and not a single one of them lost their life. Yeah. Well, that's what we're going to grab. Sometimes we preach it better than that. That's why I'd be happy, but I've been broken them fast. Smoke coming up out the jacket and one time, I said, Lord, don't let the place go up. But God got us to it, though. Here we are, over here, these fine utilitarian facilities over here. And then they're going out there. Some of us got to enjoy some of that. They got to be paid for. But anyway, here we go. Community. I want to talk to you. I want to share this little piece on the meaning of community. You with me? Yes, sir. And here we go. Those who live to themselves not only live without friends and family, but also without God. Okay. The words, we do not live to ourselves, imply that not only do we need other people such as family, friends, and even strangers, but we certainly need God. Don't ever forget now. When we talk about community in this context, we're talking about God being included. That's right. That's right. Us and God. Are y'all with me on this? Yeah. We cannot ultimately live without the hand of God in our lives. Therefore, we do not live to ourselves. It's an exhortation against selfishness, against the pride that Reinhold Niebuhr discusses in The Nature and Destiny of Man. To live to oneself is to be proud of oneself, thereby living out of fellowship with others. This type of pride is human presumption and self-glorification. In the book of Isaiah, it is described as the ground of sin. The prophet says, The haughty eyes of people shall be brought low, and the pride of everyone shall be humbled. And the Lord alone will be exalted in that day. For the Lord of hosts has a day against all that is proud and lofty, against all that is lifted up and high. The prophet Amos echoes the same sentiment, saying, the Lord God has sworn by himself, says the Lord, the God of hosts. I abhor the pride of Jacob and hate his stronghold. I will deliver up the city and all that is in it. In other words, this wanting to live apart from other people is rooted in pride. And God cannot stand pride. The sentiment is echoed throughout the Old and New Testament. In 1 John, we again find similar words. For all that is in the world, the desire of the flesh, the desire of the eyes, the pride of riches, come not from the Father, but from the world. To live to oneself is to exclude God and everyone else. Living thus become a manifestation of what we can justifiably call false pride. To live to oneself is to deny the works of the psalmist. And the psalmist said, and I quote, how very good and pleasant it is when kindred live together in unity. Yet many say, I'm going to live my life the way I want to. I'm going to look out for number one. This is the me, myself, and I portion that Robert Ringer discussed in his book, Looking Out for Number One. When blacks embraced this attitude, they failed to come to grips with the fact that Jesus was not self-centered, but focused on self-denial for the good of all humanity. Jesus did not live to himself, but lived in community with tax collectors, sinners, lame persons, the blind, the poor, and the hungry. In essence, he lived in community with all of God's children. In humility, he always pointed to God, saying, the Father is greater than I. Not my will, but yours be done. In the same spirit, we need to understand that the power of God enables us to be who we are. This means that when our lives are going well, and when we have given to the poor, fed the hungry, and visited the sick, these things have been accomplished by the power of Jesus Christ, who enables us to live in community with others. God's grace enables us to cast off our egotism and become humble. When we do good to others, we are only doing what we would have them do for us. In addition, Paul said, we do not die to ourselves. Like life, death also involves others, the Christian community, the family, the friends. Whether we live for God will determine whether we die for God. If we live for self, then we shall also die for self. We need to realize that death only cancels out life in terms of the body.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to say it one more time. We need to realize that death only cancels out life in terms of this body. It does not cancel out the content of our faith and character, of the memory of our action. There's a need for the church, and particularly the urban community, to understand their interdependence. Neither the church nor the community live to itself. A sense of interdependence will enable blacks from all segments of society to understand anew the word of Paul to the church at Rome. Paul said, we do not live to ourselves, and we do not die to ourselves. If we live to the Lord. If we die to the Lord. So then, whether we live or whether we die, we are the Lord. End of quote. So we got to learn, that's what community is all about. It's about us having that sense of oneness, that sense of unity, that sense of togetherness. In other words, we need one another.
That's right.
I need you need me, and all of us need God. God be the glory for the great things He is doing. Now, that's what I have, that's part of a caption. All the scripture we read this evening, I had to read that scripture purposely. The passage in the Psalm 91. I'm trying to offer that as a that, digest that, internalize those truths that set forth in Psalm 91, is that we can help ourselves immensely. We can go forward, we can rise up in the face of all kinds of challenges and difficulties, whether it's physical, financial, health-wise, relationship-wise, does not matter. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. In other words, that's absolute protection there. And then I had her read the Ephesians passage, because I want you to know that you have a part, you got to equip yourself for life. You got to prepare yourself for the power of darkness. So I take that back. Evil is coming after you. Yes. The devil, evil, unclean spirit, will attack your life. Yes. Will tear you down. Yes. But God has given us the right stuff so we can stand in the midst of trying times and storms in our life. Right. He tells us to put on the whole armor of God. Right. Yes. We might be able to stand against the wiles of that. My suggestion to you this evening, as the people of God, you need to go and study that, read that, memorize that, reflect upon that. Get it in your spirit, because the life that's in front of you and the course that you're going to have to travel on along life's way is going to still be difficult. Right. You're still going to have challenges. Right. And the things that we face that really is out to destroy us ain't going nowhere. No. So you might as well get ready and equip yourself so you can have life, you can have liberty, you can have freedom. You can experience the abundant life in spite of the environment that you are in right now. So we give God the praise, give God all the glory for that. Now we gave you the feast on community, and we can tie all this together. Then we can start. I want you to pay close attention. By the way, let me do this while I got it on my mind. Let's stop. What I have here, I have a bibliography on 32 must-read books for consecration. And I want you guys take and start putting your library together in your home. Now, I assume you got a Bible. I didn't put the Bible on here. I assume y'all got it. Maybe I better put it on there. I better put it on there. Let y'all listen to more. But I would assume, I was just assuming that. I thought about that. I said, you know what? Maybe I should just put the whole Bible on the top. Right at the top of there. So that the people know that that's one of the key books that you need to be reading all the time. So you can get your conscience raised. But we need to understand now. This is what I want you to understand. Then we're going to start our study. It's one, the decolonization of your intellect, of your mind, is a prerequisite for political decolonization and cultural reconstruction. If you don't get your mind changed, get some of these alien ideals and philosophies out of your head, you'll never be able to advance beyond where you are. Yes, sir. You got to, see, we've been, sometimes you say, well, how do I get the way I am? Well, you know what? You're not totally blamed for it. Because what you are started developing in you the day you was conceived. Before you came into this world, your ideas and the environment that your mother carried you around in, and the pressure and the thing that was happening to her was being transmitted to you while you was in her womb. Put your hand up. But then when you was birthed into this world and got into this physical environment, and then those things started being, these ideas and philosophies being imposed upon you, sometimes overt and sometimes covert. You just like, you know, every time you turn the television on, somebody is teaching you something about the way you're supposed to live life. What you're supposed to live. We sit by passively and let that stuff just soak into us, and then we wonder how can we act so foolish sometimes. You don't get it? And so we didn't get the way we are just because we went and enrolled for a class of food. No, we didn't get there. We didn't get there. But we didn't have to enroll in the class. We paid tuition and get us a book. They got Food 101. No, we didn't do that. We just lived life. Yeah, that's right. Going through the community day in, day out. And we've been conditioned, socialized, engineered to believe certain things, to act a certain way. And this stuff gets so buried in our subconscious. And then after a while, we started doing things. You said, why did I do that? But it's not even on the conscious level. Your unconscious mind is just pushing you, pushing you, and you don't even know why you got the ice pick and stab at your husband. Now, if you have anything you want to say about when we get back, then I got a little piece in the book of Isaiah that I want to wrap up our time together with, so I can tie it all together. And but here's what I want to tell you, because we may or may not have a lot to say this evening, but at least I'm going to keep my part of the deal. I said that I was going to bring this back to the table because it seems like some principles that there's no time. Now here we go. In your reflection on the police shooting of a black teenager in Ferguson, Missouri, what were your thoughts about the black community's response to the shooting? Number two, the white community's response to the shooting. Number three, the city government, speaking of Ferguson, response to the shooting. Number four, the state of Missouri response to the shooting. Number five, the national government response. Number six, the media's response. And number seven, and probably most important, your personal response. What were your feelings? What were your emotions? What were you thinking? All right? We got to deal with ourselves. And I'm pretty sure if my guess, if it was me, based on my own experience, this situation elicited some emotions in me.
Yeah.
I felt some things. I started thinking some things. And then I'm not saying everything I thought was right. I'm not saying everything I thought was wholesome. But I thought some stuff and I felt some stuff when this thing unfolded and began to evolve. The second question is this. That was the first question with 7 parts to it. Now here's the second question. I want you to. The second question is along this line. What lesson do we need to take away from this? We started working on that Sunday. The third question is this. Is this an isolated event or is this representative of a deeper problem in our society? The next question is this. What do we need to be teaching our children in order to equip them for survival in this society? The next question, whose responsibility is it to teach our children what they need to know for them to survive in this society? And lastly, when do those who are responsible for teaching our children what they need to know for life, for survival in this society, when do they need to start this teaching? How long should they teach? And where should this teaching take place? Now, I know that's a lot, but if you want to, but if you want to, I would prefer. I'm really not put that out there to see because I know we can already started. But some of you guys might want to start at another point. But I think we need to. I want to give you a chance to air and avoid your opinion on any one of those subject areas I just named. Okay, who'll be first? Okay.
Well, I think it's first and foremost, it's our responsibility to build our community. When we sit back and we wait for others to lead, build, and form our community, it's all corrupt, it's all funnel, and it ain't for our best interest. So I think for us, being African American or Black American, but in this country, we need to reform, and rebuild and continue to build and work in our community for us with one another. As what Pastor said here in a few minutes ago before we got started with the presentation, it's us. It's not just me, it's not just you, it's us. It's about us taking control of our community. We got to regain it because we lost it. We just about lost it totally. I mean, the only thing it is saying that we just over here in this spot and we exist, but we don't have any control over our community no more. And I think the other question is as far as, the things that we chose to grasp. We need to get some positive structure in our house, in our home. Before our kids, we need to implement some positive things before our kids. Now, they seeing a lot of stuff that come that's really something that other folks is trying to generate in our community, which they have been, when they do it through the TV, on a pair of shoes, on the movies, but still, they're still ending up at the end of the day, in our community. So, we need to watch our let our kids watch. We need to start being role models and examples for our kids. Not Michael Jordan, can't be a role model for my son. I need to first and foremost be his role model. He needs to consider me first. Then Michael Jordan come around later.
Who's that? Come on, Tracy. Come right here. Stand and face the group. All right.
Honestly, I'm kind of on that age of being slightly desensitized. To the point when the news is playing and you hear of things, I have to purposely stop. Because it's sad, but you hear of shooting, like a shooting or murder or bombing or bomb threat, that I have to be mindful just not to okay, I don't want to hear it, cut TV off. As far as, if I start from your questions from the top down, if I recall, the police decided they would give a full detail of what happened. I guess in the sense of like, we're going to acknowledge, yeah, one of our officers shot somebody. Like, okay, y'all can be calm. Yeah, he shot him. But then it was like, okay, then what? It shows that as a nation, yes, we have become desensitized. That we are quick to cut the TV off. I really don't want to hear that right now, if we're honest with ourselves. As a mom with black boys, we have to have the conversations of how to conduct yourself, even in their young age. We had even talk about plastic guns. When they'll put young kids in DAP or ISS, meaning put them completely out of the school because they come to the school with play guns. They just try to play police officers or whatever. In innocence, they can end up getting put completely out of the school. So we had to have conversations about that. They like to draw. And they might draw about episode of Batman, and the guns are on the paper. They can end up getting put completely out of class and out of the school. So we've had to have those very candid conversations. Them playing with stuff in the neighborhood, being mindful of the police driving around, that it's sad, and it's almost disheartening that you want to let your kids be kids, but they can't really be kids because you're afraid that if they go out and play the wrong way, they could get shot. A neighbor could misunderstand something. So we got a lot of community reconstructing that we got to do. As parents, even me as an educator, being willing to put things on the table to discuss it. Of course, I try to find ways I can discuss it and still tie it into what we're working on. But not being afraid to talk about it.
Thank you, Teresa. That's good. I like the idea that you bring to our attention that so much of this stuff now we become desensitized. And this is real. And oftentimes, and that could be harmful. That is harmful. And you can't allow yourself to fall into that because you find yourself ignoring something that's going to happen anyway. This is going to happen and we're not going to change it. So we want to. Is this a real challenge? Let me tell you, I read an article online that I was down the stage. I got one from Nick. I thought for Andre hand it. And this is what we've come to. This lady said that she's a suburban lady, a black professional woman. And she get ready to go on vacation, right? And what she had to do, because of the way things are, she goes, now she goes to the police department and let the police department that patrol her know that her sons will be walking to school. Wow. Took a picture, had to take pictures down there. The show me the post said, my boys, they live in this neighborhood. They are walking to school. And I would, appreciate what you know. In other words, don't harass my boys. Yeah. Now that's a sad commentary. And we've come to a point in our society that we have drifted back to the pre-70s, in the 60s like. Where we have to go through and fight for these things. The other day, right in 40, up the street from us. The boy he gets out the car with his hands up. All that kind of stuff. And the little boy, he walking, he gets out with his hands up in the air. And mother screaming and hollering, why are you doing this to me? And yada yada and so forth and so on. And to be quite honest about it, some of us are still sitting here as if everything is okay. And everything is not okay. And we want it to be okay, yes. But the truth of the matter is that Andre, a big old fella, standing on the street corner down here, and don't get the right response. Don't give the law enforcement the right response, and he could be in a chokehold. Or your boy at the service station playing his music too loud, and he gets shot. Or could be walking home from the store, eating some Skittles or drinking some tea, and get chased down by some vigilante, and end up dead. Or go knock on somebody's door to get some help and get shot in the face. Kid. You follow me? This stuff is happening too often. And I think we got to be proactive, like Mike said. We got to be proactive and start to doing the little things we know to do. Like the church said, we got to do some stuff at home. We got to sit down with them boys and teach them the facts of life. Teach them the truth, and the truth will set them free. The truth will keep them free. The truth will keep them up on top of the earth during their developmental years, rather than getting killed before time. That makes sense. Come on, Brother Andre. So I want to stick that. It's a lot that has to be. That's just another example of what's up.
The first thing I say, I guess initially I would like to research kind of desensitized in the sense that, just another shooting. I'm a Dallas transplant, and I'm from East Texas, but most of the time when I talk with folk, every city, every state got a hood. It's Bonton here, where I'm from, it's the other side of the track. And after a while, just another shooting. But after I got past that point, when I realized, there was another shooting. Let's check out and see what happened. And then, to those 7 points, I can't remember all of them, but for the most part, because I've seen it before, most of the reactions on both sides was what I expected. Given the context of Ferguson, I expected, the white community to act the way they did. I expected us to get angry like we did, rightfully so. And I expected some bad actors to come in and start riding and looting. That's just what it is, black, white, yellow, green, brown. And right on down the line. But on the back end, I wasn't quite sure, what our government was going to do. I wasn't sure what the state of Missouri was going to do. So I just kind of watched it play out. And then I started to pay a little bit more attention to the demonstration. And what really, I guess, made an impression upon me, I'm thinking out loud. Everybody had a whole lot of views, but we need to demonstrate, we need to legislate, we need to make our voice known. And all that's cool, and I agree with every bit of that. But then my mind went back to what we've been going through right here in South Dallas, and our families and whatnot. And so that kept rolling on in my head. I said, well, what about legislating what? How are we going to legislate? Who's going to do the legislation, What about, these political offices? All that's important, but at the end of the day, I kept coming back to this idea about community. And so the more and more I thought about that, I said, well, in my view, I think that's the core of our solution. Because I heard one older gentleman say, and it's amazing, I was sharing Pastor Charles, well, not amazing, I ain't even surprised, but how stuff that's constructive for our community, you don't see it. The stuff that's destructive for our community, you see it all the time. They're like the riots and losing carrying on, but I happened to flip through, I was looking for something, and I happened to flip through an internet channel, I saw an older gentleman by Pastor Charles, and community by like ours, but it's giving them a hard time. I said, no, we need to go down there, we need to tell them, hey, it's not, I understand, I ain't. But the man stood around and said, hold on, brother. He said, but what you gonna do when you go down there? And so his whole argument, and I keep coming back to that, if you just, we know it's bad. We know there's injustice all over the land. We know that white supremacy is woven into the fabric of our society. But you live here, so what you gonna do?
Yeah.
So he just kept saying, but I'm trying to get us to come back and understand what community is. And that's what Mike was saying. And not just have a happy home, leave it to be a kind of community. But community in the sense to where you realize that our lives ought to be and need to be interdependent with one another. Mm-hmm. And so the guy gave and mind you, everybody that's still hollering, you don't know what you're talking about, sit down old school. And they angry, they want to go ride, they want to go kill some white folks. But dude, just hold on, see, it's only in community where you can learn an action plan. If you go out and tell me you need to legislate, then what? But when you're in community, you can learn from people like me. So he said, for example, you talking about everybody, we need to quit begging the white man for the money. But see, what you don't know is if whatever little job you got, when you put your money in the bank, that's your money. Yeah. And the white establishment take your money to put it in other banks, so when you go try to get a loan, you can't get your money back. But everybody else can get your money and buy a house. And he said, we don't know that, we're so ignorant. He said, but it's in community where you can start doing stuff like that. And when you get in a community, you can learn how to build your own economic base, and you ain't got to worry about that. Yeah. So I said all that to say, my takeaway is that, community is where it's at. And I really been checking it out in my house, and what I told one of my friends today, I said, the point is in community, it ain't about what one person can do. It's about what everybody in the community needs to be doing. So my takeaway again is that it's about community, and we got to open our eyes and realize, and just be real about it. We've been induced with this white supremacist, individualistic mentality. It's all about me. I got mine, you get yours. I'm trying to come up, you want to get your come up. But we're going to be right in the same place. So,
Thank you, brother. Now, what I want to suggest to us this evening is that I think it's time for us to stop gathering as a collective body in reaction to something that has happened to us. And let's be a body together before something happens. So we can be better prepared going forward. We can trust one another more. We know one another because we've been living together, behaving together in a meaningful, constructive kind of way. Are y'all with me on this? That's what we need to be working toward. And there are ways where we can start to build it. And we'll talk about that. I'm working with a young man right now that's already putting a package together for me. That I'm gonna have him to come to this church and give us a seminar on how we can make what little money we do have work for us. Yes, sir. And make it grow. Amen. So we can have some money when we get to a point in our lives or find something that's worthwhile investing our dollars in. We can have something to work with. Now, let me give you an example. Jean had a young lady that she worked with. No, she didn't work with her, she worked with her mother. And this young lady was in her late 20s, early 30s. She's married to a young man in the military. Okay? She had a pretty good job. He had a career going. He was doing okay. But they were working people like all of us, making a living. And so they had accumulated $40,000, $50,000, something like that. And so they got the word that Viagra was coming out. They took that money and they invested in Viagra, and now they are cash millionaires. I ain't talking about no paper millionaire. I'm talking about cash money. Flat out millionaires, young people, because they took what they had and they made it work for them. Now, I'm not a millionaire. I didn't have it for a few $1,000. But I had a few $1,000 in a little instrument last year, and I got a 25% return on it. Without putting a dime in, I just took every $10,000 I had, and that made me $2,500.
Yeah,
I hear you.
That's good money.
yeah.
Now, if we find out how to make that kind of system work for us, and then when the opportunity comes for us, suppose we put together $100,000. We're just laying there, and the next big deal comes along. We took $100,000, put it in there, and it multiplied 10-fold or 100-fold. And we come out with $10, $15, $20 million. I get my little share out of that. I'm a good time. I say I'm gonna get my share. This time I'm take you up. I'm gonna get my share. but there are ways to do things. But listen to me. It's all about how we work together. Now here's a young lady. See, it don't take the two to make a community. Community is always plural. That's right. Can't do it individually. But here was a young lady that decided that she's going to work with her husband. And she's going to follow his lead. She's going to trust him, trust the decision he was making. And now she's waving money. Yeah. Y'all don't hear me? But most of us, men don't trust our women. And women don't trust their men. And so we're always looking in our wallet, talking about yeah, mama go get some groceries. Yeah. She go get groceries with a doctor. What my wife, when we started, she just she gets stoned mad. I said, don't hit me. You took all my money. She just can't figure out how people can come home, a man can come home and give his wife a couple $100 and expect her to run the house with it. She can't figure it out, and she gets mad every time she starts talking about it. I don't let her talk about that in my house. Don't talk about that. All right, here we go. Who's next? Anybody else like? Come on. Let me get. Come on, quick. Then we'll there. And then we're gonna do it. I don't know how close we're gonna get to what we got on the page.
I'm trying to get it out right. Okay, when I heard about I started on the internet about in Ferguson, I got really angry. And I'm on Facebook a lot and I'm checking out people's comments. And one lady, she was like, we should just all stop the ride and everybody needs to go home and pray. And I think that we've done enough praying, and praying isn't getting us where we need to be. And I don't condone what the people are doing. I don't condone the violence, but I think that they needed to do something instead of just sitting around. And I'm the type of person, I'm with someone or whatever, and they tell me that I talk to people too much, and that I should be silent, don't do this, don't do that. But, you can see a young guy on the street, he's thugged out, he got on his jeans, he's sagging his J's on, and he's talking about killing people, about shooting people, about he got this Glock, and don't talk to him because he gonna get mad at you. I feel like that we should stop being afraid and approach these people, because there are people too, and I was just like that one time, but I've changed, and if I can change, then they can too. Yeah. So I started giving them my story, and one time I'm shaking. I was like upset because I was like, why I'm worried about these white people killing us, but we killing ourselves. That's right. And it's the glorifying, and I got so shook, my feet were shaking, I said, say something. But at the end of the conversation, the little guy, I said, hold on, stop. God brought him to me because I had finished talking to him, but he came out the door and he was walking toward me, and I said, okay, if he come this way, God want me to do something different. So I said, do you mind me praying? First I asked him, do you believe in God? He said, yes, ma'am. I'm like, but he looked like a thug, but he know, ma'am. I'm like, okay. He got something, I said, well, can I pray with you? And he said, yes. And then when he left, he was like, thank you. And I was like, see, but if I'm being silent, then I would still be feeling convicted or whatever. But I think that we need to start talking to these people and not be afraid of, and quit forgetting where we came from. Yes, ma'am.
Good. Okay. That's mighty. We got to do that. Come on, Jeff. We need another man. Come on, Moselle, do that. Come sit, brother. Moselle after you. Come on, Jeff. call please.
And I just want to say to the parents, you're absolutely right. We do have to start at home teaching our children, especially our black ladies. I want to know how it is for young guys who are getting ready to go to college. An incident happened to my son. He was born this year, and he was graduating. And they was having a big party there at LSU. And when they came out, they said, well, let's go ahead over to South University, see what they're doing over there. So they went over there, and sure enough, they had paddy wagons, police was everywhere. But they didn't have any at LSU. They let them do all the drinking, all the partying that they want to do. But as soon as they go to the black school, they had all the cops out there lined up to take the kids to jail because they had been drinking. So my son and his friends came out of Southern. They stopped them. They took them downtown. They took some of the white guys that was also part of there at Southern. But they made the black guys put on orange uniforms. They did not allow the white guys, they not allowed them to keep their street clothes on. So they took all the black guys' driver's license. Although my son wasn't driving, he was driving with some of the guys. So he called his wife and let her know what had happened. So she called us here in Texas. So MC and I got on the phone and got to work and get our son out of jail. Because he had no right being in jail because it was just ordered he was not driving. So they took his driver's license. One of them gave his driver's license back. But in the state of Texas, the law is different than the state of Louisiana. So by us being knowledgeable of that, and also teaching our son not to be a follower, to be a leader. Whenever you lead yourself into something, you can lead yourself out. But if you don't follow some of these other kids into trouble and you don't know how to get out, that's why Pastor said good to know the Constitution, because if you don't know your constitutional right, they can keep you in jail for something that you don't have anything done. So that's why I suggest applaud you kids. If you're getting ready to go to college, with you being black, they are watching you. Yeah. And everything that you do, especially the black guys, they're watching. So parents, continue to teach your children at home. Teach them what they need to know. And be sure to teach them about the law, because the law is for us, not against us, if we know how to use it.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Mosley. Come on, Roger. What was your question?
So I want to piggyback on a little bit what you said about our finances. A lot of times in the black community, why they get to go with something like white folks, because we don't put in our time and investing back in our community. And me and Pastor Charles had a talk a couple of days ago, and my thing was that we need as black folks to start having our own little finance groups and stuff like that, so we can get together and start buying back our community. Because the problem with us is we let these people come in and take over our community. Then when you got a situation like this coming up, you got some of your own people going against you, having those folks, turn you down and put you down. The thing with us is we just got to step up and start, again, take charge of our community and start letting other people come in and take charge of our community. Just like this habitat situation. You got all these folks coming in doing everything for the black community. We got people down there trying to do nothing for our community. And we need to get together and start doing some of the stuff that they do. And that's when I was talking to Pastor Charles again about a few things, a few ideas I had. We're going to start reaching out to some of the elders in our community too, because we're just kicking over people to the side. That's our history, and that's where we come from. And we as black people need to start reaching back to our history, reconnect to our history, because that's what happens to a lot of our kids. Our kids don't have no respect because a lot of us don't have any respect for others. And we look at a lot of stuff going on, but if we teach our kids a lot better than what we teach our kids, we can get away from a lot of some of this stuff. That's right. I mean, it comes back to you can teach the kids out in society, but it comes back to how you train your kids and what you teach your kids. Because a lot of kids go out there ignorant and don't think about what they're doing. I was listening to something that we had in church Sunday, and a lot of people got mad because we want to tell somebody telling you tell your son to go back out there and fight. If you feel like he in the right to go back out there and fight, that's what happens to a lot of our kids. We tell our kids go out there and fight these folks and they get killed. Teaching them how to be smart about things. We got to start teaching our kids, that's our young men, because that's what we lose a lot of our young men. We got to start teaching our young men how to handle situations better than going out there using their hands. They can fight the way to solve everything. That's not the way we need to be teaching our young men to do. They just want to be more intelligent about handling situations and deal with stuff. And then this will, stop till our kids come up missing. That's what we do. We work with our kids and teach our kids. That's the main thing I want to do is, encourage y'all to work with your kids, because, especially young men, because we losing too many of them.
to senseless violence and stuff that they didn't get killed for. So my thing is just educate your kids. Let's get together and start trying to take back our community. That's what we need to do. Start taking back our community so that the people come in and take over for us.
There you go.
Amen.
All right.
Amen. Good job. Now, these are things that we're going to have to really get serious about. And that's what you're thinking. Now, let me, for the sake of time, let me go ahead and just acknowledge that there were various responses to this. Our community responded, black community responded, white community responded, city government responded, but I thought they responded in an irresponsible way, particularly Missouri government. They holding back information, allowed their system to attempt to demonize the boy that's already dead, stuff like that. Then, of course, the state came in and made this little spiel, and then when the state did come in, they did begin to bring a little order to the situation, which was a good thing. But I like what Barack did when he sat down and hold. But I think our president got to do more for the black community. Yes, sir. I think he got to speak a little louder. We put him in office. He got every one of our votes. And I think these last 2 years, we're going to have to demand that Barack do more to bring some resources to our community. Bring some kind of message to our community that will bring some healing to us. As he represents us from the political perspective. I think for the most part, on a national thing, the major churches in our society could have shut their doors, but they didn't have much to say. They could have said more, they could have done more. And it's indicative of how we are behaving. We're not doing all that we can do to lead our people in the right direction, to build our people, to develop our people for crisis such as this. Unfortunately, too many of us, particularly our big main institutions, are spending too much time trying to be glamorous, I guess. The media, I kind of like what one of the hip-hop singers kind of challenged the guy from CNN. And telling them that they need to spin this thing right, give the community a chance to express itself, rather than saying what they want to say. And oftentimes, the media was making that thing say what they wanted to say. I had my personal feelings, emotions about the thing. I had mixed emotions, mixed feelings. I was angry. I was sad. There was other times that I was looking for answers and trying to find solutions. And now to do something constructive to help. As a matter of fact, that whole thing inspired me to go further. We need to have this conversation. That's what it came out of. Now, we have lessons, things, basically fundamental for me. Here's a big lesson for me. Our society has not changed that much. As far as relationship between different groups of people. It hasn't changed. And the same thing that influenced and caused problems in the 50s, the 60s, and 40s back is the same thing that's causing us problems today. It just shows itself with a different little face on it. This is not an isolated event. This event is the representative of a deep-seated problem in this society. And now, it's so deep and been here so long that it's probably not going to go away in none of our lifetime. Unless God just work a miracle. So now we got to start working on as a community how to strategy so we can be successful. That's why you guys have to take responsibility in your home. And teach these young children. You got to teach. I had a guy on the street corner today. He came up to me, we were talking, and he's in trouble with the law and all that kind of stuff. We were talking kind of shit thing, but this is what he said to me. He said, one bad thing that happened. He said, the bad thing that happened is when they will allow one man to take prayer out of school. All these millions of Christians in the country, we allow one man to take prayer out of school. I said, now you need to stop right there. out of problem. Now listen to me, church. I want y'all to get this clear. Let's see how we get misguided, misled. And I said to him, and I quote, it's hypocritical of us to demand that they pray at the school. You won't come to prayer at the church house.
That's true. Yes, sir.
The church house is the house of prayer. Now we get stuff mixed up. I said, it's hypocritical for us to demand that teachers pray with our children. Middle teachers might not even be Christian. That's right. And you claim that you're a Christian, you don't pray for your child before you leave home in the morning. That's right. Oh, I didn't know about that. That's right. That's just the real deal about it right there. So now let's stop. Let's draw back. Take a step back and see what we can do. I'm going to challenge you one more time. You guys need to go back. If you need some help, and start turn your home into a learning institution. You need to turn your home into that. Mothers and fathers, you might not have a college education, but you can teach your children. There's something you can teach your children. Stop sitting up here. How do you think? How do you think? I'm walking down the street. I'm walking down the street. Did this boy talk yet? Is he talking? And he talking. You don't know a lot of when he talk, right? And here comes I'm walking down the street. And here comes a little bike girl right in front of me. And she looked back at her mom. Mommy, there's a nigga. Now how do you think she learned that? That's right. Somebody at home was teaching her that. How do you think this stuff gets passed on from generation to generation to generation? It's taught at home. And you see the teachers in the classroom teaching people telling God, there's a nigga. No! They learn it at home.
Some more folk call us.
Y'all better hear me. Now, here's the drawback. We won't take time out to teach our children what we know they need to know. You know why it's important for that little baby know at 3 years old who I am? Because that's the help to propagate and perpetuate institutional white supremacy. It goes on from generation to generation to generation to generation, and every generation got to know the value. We're not about that. We're about being communal people, loving one another, and getting on about our life business, and about surviving, and whatever it takes for us to survive, we have to start teaching our children those principles, those rules about living in this world, and we got to stop sitting around here waiting on other people. I can't do it. Right. I done taught this church enough over the last years that I've been here, and everybody in this church, if you ain't been here for 6 months, you know something to do you can do outside these walls.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, say that, let me give you what I got. Now, this is what the prophet Isaiah said. By the way, who should teach our children what they need to know? The very first start is us. When should we teach? We should start now.
Right.
How long should we teach? We should teach every day, as long as we live.
Yes.
It's not a seasonal thing. This is a perpetual thing. You have to go on and on and on and on. Life is not stagnant. You got to keep growing, keep learning. And so how long? You can't stop. Now listen to me. We grandparents. We're going to have to get back involved. We're going to have to not only teach our children and challenge our children to teach their children, but we're going to help our children to teach their children.
Yes, sir.
Because we try to listen about help our children, right? They don't know nothing to teach. They messed up. So we got a problem there. So here we go. Here's what the scripture says. Turn your Bible to Isaiah 58. Let me show y'all what pleases God. Isaiah 58. Here it is. He says, cry aloud. Spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet. Y'all hear that?
Yes.
And show my people Let me get your first point I want to make this evening. Y'all, see, it's the responsibility of the prophet and our preacher is to speak the truth to God's people. Tell God's people what the real deal is. That's what the prophet, that's what he said. He said, cry loud. He said, don't shout it off. That means when you preach, inflict some pain. Sometimes you got to shake up folks to get folks to move. Y'all hear what I'm saying? He said, cry loud, spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet. Loud and clear. And show my people. You ain't talking about the people on the street. The sin that got our community bogged down, or the sin of the saints.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna say it one more time. I said the sin that's holding us back, South Dallas back right now, is not the people down on Bath Street. It's the people who are in these church houses like Road there without fellowship. Because he told us to be the salt of the earth. And what? The light of the world. That's our job. And in this case, these people have stopped being there, and God told Isaiah, get up, go speak to my people, and show them their transgression. Woo! Show them how they're stepping over my law. Doing things the way they want to do it, rather than the way I told them to do it. Y'all don't hear me? And this is what that text said. God said, show them their transgression, and the house of Jacob, show them their sin. We got some sin in the camp, and as the prophet preacher, there's the word in saying, if you're going to be obedient to my call on your life, I don't care how stone-faced they are, tell them what I say. Now, I'm going to stop right there on that. And then he said, listen to me. I want y'all to get this. He said, first of all, he said, it's the responsibility of the prophet preacher to speak truth to his people. But he said, the people have a distorted self-assessment of their own activity.
Yes, sir.
In other words, the people are doing wrong and they think they're doing right.
That's right.
They look at themselves and they pat them own selves on the back.
Yeah.
Look what they say. And then they blame God because their prayers are not being answered. Look at this text. Yet they seek me daily. In other words, they go to Bible study every Tuesday night. They show up on Sunday morning. They're here for prayer meeting, Sunday school. Every day they get up early in the morning before they go to work. And they're seeking the Lord. And they delight to know my way. They look for a new truth every day. As a nation that did righteousness. Look what he said. He said they act like they did not forsake my ordinances.
My Lord.
And they ask of me the ordinance of justice.
My Lord.
They take delight in approaching to God. They got a distorted view and distorted assessment of their own activity.
Yes.
They think they're doing right when they're doing wrong. Then he goes, look what they say. Wherefore have we fasted? They're talking to God now. God, we have denied ourselves. We have afflicted our soul. They say, well, God, you don't see us. Say, God, where are you, God? Some of y'all say, I'm doing everything right, but God don't hear my prayer. Everything is still going wrong for me. My family's still falling apart. And keep on not getting along with your husband. Keep on not getting along with your wife. Keep on not getting along with your community. And you're going to find yourself where all people bound for hell are going.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Your church membership don't save you. It's your righteousness. I said your church membership is not going to save you. And you know I'm right.
Yes, sir.
Because you belong to this church and you still ain't happy.
Wrong teach.
Tell the truth.
Wrong teach.
And that's just an indication of what's going to happen in the future. You belong to the church and you still ain't going to heaven.
Yes, sir.
But he did say spell it out there. He said lift up the voice, didn't he? He should show the people that sin, didn't he? See, the proper assessment what God has to say about it. God says, here's what you're doing. You fast to find flesh. And you exact all your labor. You fast to fight and debate. And to smite with the fist of wickedness. You fast, you shall not fast as you do this day. To make your voice be heard on high. They're doing all of this. Denying themselves, inflicting themselves with their religious rituals, pain in their lives, break themselves out in the public. Like I got it all, I'm doing all the right things, so God can hear me. That's God. Now I'm telling y'all what, so much for that. Let me give you what God says is gonna make a difference. God says, what God wants is righteousness over riches. Not rituals over righteousness. Rituals mean you know all the right songs to sing, you know all the right things to say, you know all the the forms that we do when we go to church. You got all the worship down to the eyes. You ain't got to speak your paper up no more. All of it ain't on none of it, but you got to memorize it. It's all in your head. You can do that. You go right through it. That's just your ritual. You know that. Matter of fact, you know exactly what to say, amen. You know exactly when to grow. You know exactly when the Christian will look up on his paper so you can wake up. So you know, you got it all down pat. It's down pat. All the ritual. And it's good to have ritual. But when ritual come in itself, it becomes money. It insults God.
Yeah.
When it's all about just rituals with us. But this is what the book said. God said, is it such a fast that I have chosen? God, I didn't choose that, God.
That's right.
He said, a day for a man to sit in his soul. Is it to lie down on his head as a warrior and to spread sackcloth and ask none of him? Was I called us a fast and an acceptable year of the Lord? He said, is this what you're talking about, your religious ritual? Your being pious? You know how we, how you doing? I'm good. God is good all the time. I don't know how we do all that. And sometimes it makes me want to throw up. When I look at you and see your life that's following behind you, as soon as you get around the corner, you're crying and screaming because somebody didn't stick to you. But we do it all the time. And see, cliches and stuff like that, you got us in trouble. And by the way, if y'all ever notice something, I know you have, but I'm gonna say something. You never hear your pastor using cliches. You probably say, see, it's futility. You never get me using it cliches. one night, I was on the Bible, going preaching in church 50 years ago, so I was a young preacher then. I was about 20. And so they had us all in the church there. So lady came in. Oh, just like this. I guess one of and somebody said, well, Sister So-and-so, how you doing? Oh, I'm blessed. They cut a jig right in the middle of the floor. I wasn't used to that kind of stuff. So I got my eyes on that. So I get up to preaching, she slept, bro. I said, I'm a bad preacher or something wrong with this one. It wasn't about coming to learn to be truth, I can do better in my life. So I can be righteous, a righteous person. Rather than showing all these antics out in the public square. So I can make people believe or think that I have this unique relationship with God. But look what he said. Now I want you to get, I'm finished. Then I want y'all to hear me out on this. I got 2 points I want to make them through, but we've been there long enough. Been there too long. So it's righteousness rather than ritual, right?
Yes.
Look what this Bible says. Is not this the fast that I have chosen, listen, to loose the bands of wickedness?
Yes, sir.
To undo the heavy burden? Huh? We're talking about fasting now. He said, and to let the oppressed go free. That's the reason why I say people always talk about the United States of America being a Christian nation. That's the biggest lie ever been told. Because this country specializes in oppressing people, weak people, and people of color.
That's right. That's right.
It's woven into the very fibers of this society. Oppression. And we let folks get away with that stuff in our church. And blaspheme the name of Jesus Christ. Talking about we are a Christian nation. We got in God, we trust on our dollar. We got God and trust on our dollar, but we won't share no dollar with those who need it. She said, let the oppressed go free. And he said, break every yoke. Everything that holds people back and holds people down. He said, break it. So people can be free. See, God created us to be free. For the spirit is there's liberty.
Yes.
Listen to me. I'm talking about the fast that pleases God. Not our religious ritual. But he said, is it not to deal thy bread to the hungry? And that thou bring the poor that are cast out into your house? Huh? When thou seest the naked, that thou clothe him? That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
That thou hide not thyself from thine own flesh. In other words, don't hide from your own children. You brought them into the world, you father them, you love them, you brought them here. Take care of them.
Yes, sir.
I ain't through. Then you should call on the Lord.
Yeah.
When your fast is right, when you practice righteousness over ritual, he said, call him and he'll hear you. Not only that, come and help me, somebody. Come on. Help me, Holy Ghost. I need some help with this here. Because this is what he said. And thou shalt cry. In other words, when you're hurt, I'll be there to comfort you. But you don't get that just because you go to church. You get that because you practice righteousness. Yeah, that's right there. But God is smart enough to know who's righteous and who is just a ritualist. So
Say that.
we want to get out of the mess that we're in. All this is connected. You ain't gonna change those people. But you can change your position when you are with God.
That's right. Yeah.
You can put yourself in a position so you can know God is on your side.
That's right.
And you can go and live your life and live with expectation.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all right. So God knows where we are. God, and some of you guys already know. You go up tonight, you can give your testimony. But you let your Lord point in your life.
That's right.
You didn't know what to do. You didn't have time to call Pastor Charles.
That's right.
God came and got you out of your mess.
Anyway.
I know, right? And sometimes that's what you need to be.
That's right. That's right.
You need to be so you can't get to the farm.
There you go. Yes.
You need to be where you ain't got no one, you can't do nothing but look up.
There you go.
I understand that. Yes, sir.
Don't even know what to say. But just look up. I'm so messed up this evening, God.
Yes, sir.
God, still your child.
Yes, sir. Yes,